What's going on, good people? It's your boy Demarcus, and this is the life of a multifaceted. I want to say Happy New Year to you all. I know it's a little bit further. I'm into the new year, but hopefully your year is starting off good or has been progressive over time. For the people that have been following me, I want to shout you all out and thank you so much. I know I only have like a couple of subscribers, but that's not the point. The point is to continue to be able to get this information out and just to be able to create a space to where people can feel that they can enjoy and have someone that they're going along this ride with. So I want to thank you all for the new subscribers, as I'll call y'all, my faceteers as well. Thank y'all for joining, and also for the people that will be coming across this later on. Thank you all as well. And for those that may not know, you can follow me on Instagram, that man Marco. You can also follow me at Mashing Up with Marco. The first was my personal page. The second was my food page. Those pages are also the same on TikTok. I'm going to be ramping up that content, and then my YouTube is the multifacets of Demarcus. So definitely feel free to take a look at those and follow me, show love, reach out to me in the DMs, comment on my posts. However, I'm always willing to have conversations and show love back to you all. And so, again, for this platform, I want it to be one to where you have someone that you can go through the process of life with, especially in his 20s. One where we can talk about all different types of things: friendships, relationships, spirituality. We can talk about music, food, my cooking, all that type of stuff. I want you to be able to see the true ins and outs of a multifacet. And this platform isn't just talking about like self help stuff, but more importantly, talking about my life and things that I've experienced and in this journey that I'm continuing to go along. And hopefully, just as I speak about different avenues and perspectives on my life, that can help others and they can feel as if they have someone to go along this life journey with. So when I think about today's episode, I wanted to shed light on um, the New Year, New Me phrase, or I should say propaganda, right? When we think about New Year, New Me, and I know how I look at it specifically, I really dislike it. And I dislike it because a lot of times people will look at, because of how the calendar starts over, that life resets, and in reality it doesn't at all. Like, your life just doesn't reset because the clock turns um, 12 a.m. Or 12 midnight, and then all of a sudden, like, the world just changes and you go into a whole nother stratosphere. No, all that does is just you're continuing just adding more time onto your life, right? Like, each and every day that we get is a added day to our life. That's another day that we're experiencing, but that's also a day that's going towards us getting older. And so we know how life moves. The older that you get, the less time that you have, and then also the more knowledge and things that come along with that as well too. But when we think about life, you just never know how much time you're going to get. So it's always important to push yourself to do some of the things that you enjoy. You may not always knock off all these things, but the important piece is to push in ways to where you can at least enjoy your life in the way that you want to. And so, specifically when we think about this New Year, New Me talk, it's funny because I'm a person where, if you've listened to my previous episodes, I'm a person where I can be honest and say that some of the things that I used to do as a kid, because of how I've seen parents move, family members, friends, and all that, have become true pet peeves of mine as I've gotten older. And New Year, New Me, that's been a big one because that also correlates similarly with people talking about what they're going to do and not following up with any action. And the reason being is because a lot of times when people say this, they want to be able to have outside validation, and they want people to in a sense know, or to tell people that they have something coming, or that they are working towards something, when in reality it's like you've got to be the one that gives your own self that validation. And I look at it as, when we think about life, um, a big thing that a lot of us struggle with is knowing who is going to support us, and knowing when and where to get the support from. And so a lot of times I feel as if, when we hear this, or even if we're at points where we say this, we may be looking for ways to not only bring out excitement for ourselves or bring out excitement out in others because we want to hear and feel the validation that they have for us because of what we're saying. A lot of times when we have big goals and big dreams, it can sound good because the way that you've thought about what you want, like people find that appealing. They're like, oh, okay, this sounds dope. Like this sounds like something amazing. And our imagination, the way that it plays and the way in which we go about our thoughts can be very dreamy. It can be in a way to where we see the world in a whole different lens, or we may be able to see the world in a similar lens to others. So a lot of times when we're talking about goals and ways in which we dream about or things that we can envision, that's why a lot of times it can sound appealing, but in reality, we have to realize that that does nothing for us if we put no action to it. And a lot of times, the validation is the same way, like motivation is temporary. You can be motivated to go to the gym, but if you don't have that grit and you don't have that willingness to want to continue to go, even when it may not be easy on certain days, it's not going to do anything for you. And so, the same thing with our goals is that if you're someone that's waiting to start at the beginning of the year because you're truly dedicated to that, that's different. Like you're someone that's saying, I'm dedicated. I'm going to make sure that I'm specifically doing this. But the thing is, you can't get so caught up in having to have that start point and making that something that you have to force yourself to obtain by the end of the year. Again, if that's something that you have set on your radar to do, cool. But a lot of times when we give ourselves those specific timelines, I feel as if we have to do it at the beginning of the year and finish off at the end of the year, we make ourselves feel as if we have to be perfect, and that can hurt our growth at times because as I've said, with motivation, you can have that good continuous start. You can be doing good for a month, 2 or 3 months. You may be working out and doing the 75 hard, which is almost 2.5 months. But it's the point of what are you continuously doing after you've reached this particular goal, and how is this goal helping to align you with other goals? If I'm someone that's, and I keep bringing the working out because a lot of times working out is based on motivation for a particular period. I remember times where I've lost 45 to 50 pounds, and in times where I've lost 20 and 30 pounds, and they've been at different marks. But I had to realize that these may have been certain periods where I was doing it for getting ready for spring break, where I was about to move, or I was just in a certain zone. But when I went back and thought about it, I'm like, okay, so what was my motivation outside of the one block in my life that I was losing the weight for? And if it wasn't, like, what stopped me from being motivated in that same way moving forward? So life happens. And so as you're continuing to move forward and finding out your goals, you have to figure out ways in which these goals um, can transcribe into other areas. Again, like I've looked at myself in the past year or in the last year, and I was like, man, I've really done some dope things, even when I didn't have as much money, when I didn't have as many resources as I may have typically would, because of money and also too just because of life changing. Friends, no longer living with friends, have my own space, and then also too people have been moving into different areas. People are at different points in their lives, and I've looked back and I'm like, I'm really really proud of myself for everything that I have accomplished. And so when I think about a new year, new me, I don't look at it for as far as the calendar year. I look at me stepping into a new part of my life every single day because when I think about the year overall, a lot of times in the past I would look at, man, I didn't accomplish all these goals that I had laid out for myself. I didn't do anything to the maximum, or I should say, I wasn't my best self. This is how my thought process was, but in reality you have to take a step back because a lot of times the reason why we don't feel like this is because we're either comparing ourselves to others or comparing ourselves to the world and to society. And so I'm a person where I wouldn't say that I necessarily compare myself to this particular person or others per se, but more so I'm seeing how people are talking, and I'm seeing the results and stuff that people are telling you that you need to do to be successful, and I'm comparing it to that. So I'm not having one specific person which I'm like, oh, I need to outdo them or be like them. No, I'm competing with myself, but there's different ideologies and ways in which people are talking. You're like, okay, well, maybe I need to do this. Maybe I'm not doing enough. But that's just a self fault and a self insecurity, right? So over time, we have to take a step back and realize for the course of a year, what all have we been able to do? And if you're someone that's really been able to grow and develop within yourself, you will know this because you'll feel it. If you're someone that hasn't, you felt shitty, you like I ain't done nothing, you're gonna feel that and you're gonna know that because at the end of the day, the growth and development is for you. It's not for anybody else. And no matter if somebody else can see it or not, you're going to be able to feel if different parts of your life have grown in the area to where you've been able to advance. If you've been in the same place for 5 or 6 years, if you feel like that you haven't took any type of risk, if you felt like your money hasn't went up and down and you haven't found ways to get in and get out of that, whether you have support or not, you haven't truly grown. If you have a lot of goals on your in your journal, on your planner that are for uh, your growth in other areas, and you haven't accomplished these things, then you've got to look back at yourself or look in the mirror and say, you know what, I'm not doing anything valuable for me. And you have to change this mindset because at the end of the day, if you're someone that has 20 to 25 goals that you've accomplished in a year, small or big, you've done way more than the above average person. A lot of people may not even achieve 5 goals in the course of a year that they've set out to accomplish. And so the thing is going back to what I said. You have to be able to find the validity in yourself. You have to be able to value yourself. You have to be able to understand where you're going to, and for all the things that you're accomplishing and achieving, how that could replicate into your future life. And things are not going to look sexy. Like I said, for the past year, for myself being laid off, um, it's been a tough road, right? But I've realized that as far as for my mental clarity, for spirituality, for even working on my physical, like I overall feel the best that I've ever felt. And a lot of times that can sound cliche when people are saying that, but in reality, for myself, that's very very true. When I look at my life, the only thing that I felt has been a downfall is just the money thing, and that's just because when you lose a job, so we're getting paid a high salary, you're going to take a hit like that. No matter if you have side hustles that are still building up or if you have family support or whatever, like it's going to take time to ramp back up. And this is something that can affect anyone. It's something that affects a lot of people, even people that have been in work for years, people that have invested a lot of time into something, people that have been entertainers, that have been artists. Like some people put their all into the work and it just doesn't work out, so you have to be able to figure out ways to retrace back, to be able to go into a different direction. And that's all part of life. But the biggest thing that you can do for yourself is to find those inner pieces that make you happy. Work on your spirituality, work on your physical, right? Like I'm not in the best physical shape that I want to be in, but the strides that I've taken to be consistent and then also push myself within that gym and get back to the mentality that I had at those points where I had those little blocks that I was talking about, where I've lost that weight in a short period of time. Well, I've been able to do it continuously over months. So it's like, hey, I'm still working towards getting it into my best shape. I haven't necessarily eaten the best. I've had some months where I've eaten really great. I've had some months where I felt dedicated to work out. I have some months where I didn't feel as dedicated to work out. But being consistent with that has been the key for me because one of my biggest goals was I wanted to find those heights where or I want to get past those points of like high levels of motivation. Y'all know how it feels whenever you're working out right. You've been consistent for 3 to 4 days, and then you've been consistent for 2 weeks, right? All of a sudden you end up taking a week off, you end up taking 2 weeks off because you either going on vacay, you either you just not feel as motivated, and then all of a sudden you have that one spike where it's like you done worked out the hardest that you ever had. Like you worked out harder than you did for those 2 weeks where you felt that you was really locked into your bag, and all of a sudden you hit that crash. We've all been there, and that is a life thing that happened. That is a life. Um, I don't know what word I should say for this, but that is a life detriment that is real, and that's one for myself where I found out in college how to be consistent, how to work hard. But there's been those periods where like I'll have where things are hot, and then all of a sudden it falls, and then it goes really hot, and then I completely fall off the face of the earth, which is real, right? Like that's something that we all experience, and learning how to progress past that is a tough thing, but when you find ways to keep moving, I'm telling you, it feels so much different. Like I've had um in the past year, like over the holidays, where I didn't get to work out as much as I wanted because I was back home and then eating a good amount. But when I came back, I was back into the gym. I was pushing myself even when days seemed tough. I'm still taking the stairs. Still, if there's a couple days where I may take the elevator, um, hey, we got to get back to them stairs. You know what I'm saying? And that's where you continue to train your mind. But again, that goal right there may seem like a small goal, but it's a big goal for me because it's going to help me to understand how to work in different areas of my life. Hey, if it's food, there's going to be times where I may have I have points where I enjoy eating out. I love to get fast food because I don't want to be the one cooking. I want somebody else to cook for me. You know what I'm saying? And it's easier to be able to get that because fast food you're so used to where you find your favorite chains, it's quick to order and you can get it in a quick time. And so over time, I have to remember like, hey, let's get back to the food. You know what I'm saying? We got at least got to have, okay, if we're gonna go on a spree like that, let's have some days where we're cooking. Let's have some days where, you know what I'm saying, we cooking a lot, so we have to feel forced to eat. You got to train your mind to get back to those points, even when it doesn't um, feel good, when it doesn't feel, as comfortable doing so. And so it's not easy, but more importantly, it's about taking those consistent strides. So if you're someone that's coming into this new year and you've always been new year, new me, and you've always heard people say that or whatever, look back at your life and look back at yourself and say, have I taken action? Have I actually done those things that I've set out for myself? Have I actually worked towards a better mindset? Have I worked towards a better me? And you'll be able to feel if you have or not. And again, don't try to make it seem as if you haven't done anything because you didn't cross off every single goal. You have to be able to appreciate the small wins and more importantly appreciate those for yourself because you're not going to be able to get through to everybody for them to appreciate what you got going on. Hell, a lot of people don't even know um why they do half the things that they do. So why would you expect them to appreciate something that they can't even see for themselves? No, you got to appreciate that for you. And you can't get so caught up in everybody trying to understand your vision because one big lesson that I've had to learn in my 20s is everybody ain't going to see what you got going on. And that's a beautiful thing because when you're someone that's moving in ways to which where people can't see, you're going to be that person that can do the things that others won't. And so when you think about moving into this new year, like or to this new you or however, like be focused on what you can do for you and how that's going to benefit and help you to become a more valuable you. You want to be someone where it's in the rooms and people are so excited to talk about the individual you are and what you do versus you having to do it. I remember last year, whenever the end of the year, I was at an event from a woman that I ended up meeting at CultureCon about 2 years ago. We've only seen each other probably once since then. She ended up moving to New York, but she ended up having an event, and so I went into the event, and it was actually mostly women there. And it was an event like we were writing out our goals and planning for 2025. And so I'm sitting there and talking to the women, and I'm just vibing, having a conversation. And I end up having some random conversations with women about working in tech because they're asking me what I do. And then as I'm sitting there chilling too, like one woman, she was talking about food and restaurants. Her and this woman next to me, like they're kind of talking across each other, and they're going about restaurants. And one of the ladies is new, and then the woman next to me is giving her all these different type of restaurants and stuff to go to because she's been well adapted to the city. She knows all the spots to hit. And so my friend, she's like across from me to the right, and she's like, I don't know why Demarcus is sitting here being quiet. Like he's an actual whole chef. Like he be really cooking and stuff like that. So the women, their eyes blow up, and they're like, "Oh, you be cooking this, isn't that?" But the point that I'm getting to is that when you continue to build and continue to do things that are dope and things that make you happy, but ones where you can see growth in it, you don't have to necessarily talk about it because other people are going to do that for you. Unless you're in a room to where you need to network, you need to build. But in spaces like that where you're coming for a different purpose, when people really fuck with you and they value what you got going on, even if they may not even show it on the surface level, people know. And people are going to appreciate you because you're making it dope. Like for me, for myself, I've been cooking for 10 years at this point. I really started to find the dopeness in it, as I would say, or really take it serious in this past year, because this is the first time I really seen it for myself. And so over time, those I built, people know me for that. People know me for making beats, freestyle, and people know me for sales when I was working at Sprint. All these different things that make I know I have so many people that know me for something different, right? Mostly everybody know me for food, but everybody still knows me or they remember a part of me that's different than the next person will, and is a testament to how I've been able to portray myself and value myself. Because if I was worried about how other people what they wanted me to do or what they thought, I'm telling you, I wouldn't even be at this point, and we just getting started. I'm just 28 getting this going. And so you have to realize that you have to be the one to make something dope. I guarantee you, when it comes to beats, when it comes to food, all this and that, if I was worried about what everybody else was saying, t-shirts that I do, all that, I would be so far behind and I would mentally feel so down, probably depressed. I mean, I can't even imagine, because I would feel as if I was being in control. Um, I would feel as if I wasn't being in control, but I was being controlled by everybody else. So if you're someone that feels like that, start today. I'm telling you, start today. Start with the new year, new me. Technically the start of the new year has passed, so you've got to be able to look in the mirror to yourself and say, you know what, I'm going to start working on the things that I want to. If you're someone that hasn't had a job and you're just not getting a job, whatever, like you got to be able to continue to work towards it. I'm someone that's still applying for jobs every day, when I'm working towards that in the background. I've got to tell myself, hey, DeMarcus, you ain't been working on your brand in like 3 to 4 days, and that's turned into a week. So now you got to get on it, because at the end of the day, nobody else is going to help you to build this. Nobody else is going to see it in the way you do. People may love your food and desserts, but it may just be one person that sees it for themselves or something on a small level. But if you envision it as being something bigger, you've got to be able to put the work in and continue to make the strides to where you can actually make that happen. Because again, people are only going to see what they see. But if you see something bigger, you've got to be able to do it in a way to where you know where you can get to, because others ain't going to see that, especially the ones that are more about talking versus the action. So if you're someone as well too, where you feel as if you haven't had as much confidence or self esteem, you got to figure out ways to get yourself out there, and it doesn't require money. Is what's crazy. You can step outside and you can literally pop up to a bar and you can just go in there and get water. You ain't gotta act. You ain't gotta sit there and be drinking, but you can enjoy the environment. You can just get out there and have conversations. You can go to events that you get invited to. Find a way to get dressed nice and go in there and be like, you know what, I want to meet somebody. Don't look at it as like, if I don't meet somebody, then the event wasn't successful. Go in there saying, you know what, I'm going to work on being a more confident version of me. I want to work on, how I sound when I'm talking to people. I want to work on, my poise, my posture when I'm in there, and look at the small goals, because they're going to help you get those big results. So again, if you're someone that has not been doing anything, or you felt like you feel lame, or you feel as if like life ain't been working out in any type of way, find those pieces for yourself that can help you to feel important, that can help you to feel happy. Because until you do that, nothing's going to change for you. And if things do if you do feel that things are changing, a lot of times you're probably only going to look at it from the monetary standpoint, because of the space that you're in. But if you're someone that's truly growing, you're going to realize that while money is, a big thing in this world, and you do need money to survive, you're going to realize that the true inner peace, the true happiness, comes from that work that you do outside of that. It comes from the way that you show up and support people, even when you don't necessarily have the money. How are you talking to people? How are you working on um, your well being? How are you working on your communication? Are you doing the therapies or whatever? Like, are you not whatever? Like, it's important. Are you doing the things to strengthen your friendships and relations? Are you taking your friendships as seriously as your family or your spouses? Like, are you actually doing that work? Because a lot of people again talk about, hey, I'm in a space of working on this and that. I've improved, but they really haven't. Like, because one thing that they're doing is isolating themselves from everything else, and they feel like that they've been working on them, but people around them aren't getting any better version of them. Like, it continues to get worse. So you got to work on those things. And so I'm here to tell you today, get to it. write those things down, appreciate the small wins, take yourself out. Um, hey, even if it's just being lazy for a full week because you feel that you've accomplished some dope things, do that. But don't let it get too far to where now you fall off the face of the earth. And the only time you have motivation is of these small wins, because a few people said something to you or whatever. Like, no, you got to be able to find the happiness and value within yourself. So I want to continue to, again, to release these videos. I want my content to continue to get better, and I'm really working on, for myself, for it to be that quality over quantity thing. Like, as I continue to work on, myself in this year, I want to be able to get more podcast episodes out, get more mashups out. But I really want to upgrade the quality of my life, and the quality of the things that I put out. Because at the end of the day, like, it is a game of quantity and being consistent. But the thing is, you can be consistent, and if you're growing each time, and if you're adding development, you're adding different pieces to it that are showing the progress, that's going to take you way farther than just being consistent for the hell of being consistent. And so, one thing that's also that I've been proud of for myself in the past year and a half, like, I was able to do like 50 to 60 mashups of food. And that's a lot for me, but it also didn't feel like much because I found a way for myself to be excited about it and to make it dope. And now I'm finding different avenues to get it out there. So I'm hoping whenever I can look back at these episodes and continue to grow, I can be able to have more timestamps and be able to have timestamps where other people can see it as well. There's nothing doper than being able to look back in my favorite battle rappers, favorite artists, and stuff, where you can go click on the tab of oldest under their pages, and you can see where they've been putting in the work for 10 plus years, even if it was to where the oldest video that they had nothing to do with what they're doing now. The fact that you can see to where people are in a different type of zone is dope. And so that's where, for myself, I want to continue to create these timestamps for me. I want to put things out because I do have things in my phone, and people do have memories of hey, Demarcus did this or whatever. But sometimes it's good to be able to have it on the internet and these platforms where you can reach out to other people and when they can also get the start on their lives. So this is work that I've been doing for a long time. These are the thoughts and perspectives that I have, are things that I've had in my head for forever, and ones that I've sharpened as I become a younger adult moving into an older adult. Like, and these ways of moving and the results that I continue to get in my life are because of DeMarcus continuing to do the work, but more importantly, taking life as it is and not having to feel that he has to be perfect, and deconstructing this perfect perspective that others would try to put on him. And so, for the life of a multifaceted, you get a chance to see the ins and outs of myself. You get a chance to see the things that I like, dislike, my perspectives. There's going to be things in which you agree or disagree with, but that's the point of being able to have this. That's the point of being a human. If everything that we said was perfect and right, then we would be God, and we're not. So my purpose is to be able to help other people to see the light in themselves, continue to see someone going along the journey that doesn't feel perfect, and someone that's going to have um, his F ups and all that type of stuff. But it's important for people to be able to see that somebody's going through this process with them, and also that someone's able to move in a different way that other people might speak about. Like, being multifaceted is dope. You hear all these gurus, oh, you got to focus on this one thing, this, and that. And I've told y'all how the parallel tasking works. So we can be dope at many different things. A jack of all trades is a master of none, but oftentimes better than the master of one. And at the end of the day, when you become dope and become a master expert in something, a lot of times, especially as humans, it's based on the human experience. When you're getting an award, it's based on other humans judging you based on what they think. When you know that you're dope, at the end of the day, you're creating dope things. There is no reason for people not to feel that you're dope because you're the one that's leading with that. And if you continue to grow and continue to develop, you will find dope avenues and dope ways to make things where people will really fall in love with and like. But at the end of the day, we're not here to please man, we're here to please God. And I'm someone that has, my ups and downs. I have my things that I've done, the things that, that were good, that were bad as well too. I have my own faults, but the point is for us to be able to grow and develop as people, and for this to be a judge-free zone, but more importantly, for it to be a space to where people can feel as if they can be themselves. Now, again, there's some things out there that's right to do. There's a lot of things that's wrong to do, but more importantly, is how the thing that is always going to be right is how you choose to show up for yourself, and how you want to be valued in this world. So continue to do that. If you feel like you haven't done anything to be a better you, if you feel that the person that you are hasn't made any strides, you need to change that ASAP. I'm telling you, I'm gonna keep it a stack with you. If you're someone that feels lazy and you feel always feel unmotivated, find a way to get out of it. Um, we're all going to have points where we feel unmotivated. Trust me, I have. You can go on my YouTube and see times where I fasted and lost weight, gained some back, or whatever. I've had periods of being unmotivated, but you got to find ways to push through, and you can't be, you don't want to be no lame. Like, only person that's going to be able to be lame is the person that feels lame, the person that's doing lame stuff. If you're someone that feels the value in yourself, you see the growth, you see the depth, you're going to continue to take those strides and make those strides to be dope. And if you're someone that has been doing that and you're working better on it each and every time, you have no reason but to be proud of yourself. You might be a little bit frustrated, you might be a little bit of annoyed where you are, but you're always going to be able to look back and say, damn, I'm really, really proud of myself. Because a lot of people, when they're speaking, they're talking about, oh, I wish I would have did this more, or some regrets that I have. A lot of people can't speak about the positive things that they've done because they're looking at all these big wins, and they're looking at what everybody else has done. But if you're able to truly look back at yourself and say what you're proud of, you should be able to stand on that and stand on your twos and be able to feel fulfilled in all the work that you're doing. So that's what this platform is for. Um, I'm wishing everyone well. Like I always say, if you want to reach out, if you have any positive words, please leave comments and reviews on my platform here. Please feel free to reach out to me on social media. Um, my goal is to be able to have a platform where people can feel heard, especially for the multifaceted facetteers, the only childs, the people that have felt left out, that have felt misunderstood. Like, this is for you. You know what I'm saying? Like, trust me. Like, I have so many perspectives, so many ways in which I move, and again, it's I'm having conversations with people, you know, all the way from my age, a little bit younger to 10, 20 years older than me, and I'm able to have relatability on all levels and being able to have intelligence to where like there's not much that I can't understand besides life things that I haven't experienced, but I'm able to get that because I'm sitting back listening and understanding. So that's what this platform is for. I keep saying it. I keep on going. I'm at like 33 minutes almost. It's crazy to know how much I can talk and how long I can go. But I'm hoping that these podcast episodes can provide depth, can provide value, and can be something that you feel happy that you have, and you feel as if it's a safe space to be your best self and ultimately bring out your best self. So that's the life of a multifaceted. It's your boy Demarcus, and we out here. Peace.